Hi everyone, this is Diva from Blood Hunter, and you're listening to the Metal Pit podcast.
Welcome to the Metal Pit podcast, where we delve deep into the albums and bands that shaped metal. Please visit our website, The Metal Pit, at www.themetalpit.org, excuse me, where you can find album reviews, interviews, and live show reviews. Also, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Metal Pit. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com at The Metal Pit 666. If you have any questions, comments, maybe you want to be a guest on our podcast, email me, info@themetalpit.org. I am your host, Blake. I guess I should have said that when I said me, Blake. And today I have a special guest. First I'm going to say, where is it? I'm going to say bye-bye to Jemiina.
Oh, bye-bye. You said it wonderfully. It's good day in Finnish. Yeah, you said it perfectly. Hello, everyone.
And that's my only Finnish that I know, since you just taught me before we started. People will think I looked it up myself and figured it out, but I didn't. She helped me. Okay. So yeah. You're the lead singer of the Finnish metal band SWANSONG. And I actually was the first person to review your latest album, Awakening, I believe, on the Metal Pit, right?
Yes, for the Metal Pit. And yes. Thank you so much for the awesome review. Our debut album, Awakening, was released last Christmas.
Yes.
December, yeah. So it came out and we are so excited. It was our first full album and it has gotten amazing feedback. And also we have been doing gigs in Finland. And this summer we are doing metal festival gigs in Finland, Tuska Festival and also Nummi Rock Festival and other cool stuff. So very excited.
That's good. Now I know I really liked the album. I was really impressed by it, and I never heard of yous before I listened to it, and I never listened to your EP. I just listened to that album and reviewed it, and I was happy to see other reviews came in after me that were also positive. So that made me feel like I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, thank you so much. It felt awesome because it's also my first album ever as a vocalist, and it felt so heartwarming to have those reviews, and it's an honor to be here. I respect you and the Metal Pit, and greetings from our boys. Also, greetings from Finland.
Thank you, and thank you for joining me. Now, for people that don't know who you are, of course, I'm going to put your name and everything in the description of this podcast, but how would you describe the music of your band, SWANSONG?
Well, we are a melodic death metal band with 80s, 90s metal, heavy metal influences, old school stuff, riffs, harmonies, lots of cool guitar solos, emotional solos, and I'm the vocalist. I scream, I growl, I try to do versatile stuff. So check it out. You might be surprised.
Yes, everybody should check it out. And you mentioned that you've played a few shows, and how has your first few shows went playing the new songs?
Amazing. We loved it. First we went to Lahti, Finland, and we thought maybe nobody will show up because we're a new band. But there were lots of people and they knew our songs. They screamed, play Winter Maiden and play Maiden of Death, and we were so happy. It was amazing. And finally to perform those album songs. So it made us very, very happy.
That's great. Now, obviously, for a new band and you're in Finland, I mean, you got lots of countries that you can go to. Do you have any plans to do any countries close to you, or right now you're just sticking in Finland to play live?
We have had some questions from abroad, for example, Norway, and hopefully in the future we will definitely go. We would love to tour, but now we are making new music.
Yes.
It's keeping us busy. Topi, our guitarist, he's making these new cool tunes, something fast and also something beautiful and slow. Lots of versatile stuff for the second album. And also we have gigs in Finland now, so that's keeping us busy, but maybe in the future you can follow us in our social media, Instagram and Facebook, SWANSONG, so you can see where the path leads us.
Yes, and people can say that you need to come to my country.
Yeah, hopefully so. Would love that. And sorry about my Finnish rally English, everyone. I hope you hear what I'm saying. I am trying to articulate.
I can understand you perfectly fine, so I'm sure it's fine for everybody else too. Now
Awesome.
we are going to talk about, we're still going to do my regular podcast. We just did a little chat to introduce you so people know who you are and so they can go check you out. And I kind of I gave you some bands to pick from, and with the album we decided on was Iron Maiden's fourth album, Peace of Mind.
Yeah.
But before we start on that, I wanted to ask you, I should have said this before that, I guess, how did you get into heavy metal music? Like what bands or maybe what album or who influenced you to listen to heavy metal music?
When I was a kid, my stepfather, he listened to lots of blues vinyls albums and also rock and roll and lots of Finnish rock and roll. And he always taught me vinyls are the thing when I was a kid. And my big brother, he played a guitar, and he was a cool metal dude. He had long hair, and his room was off limits. I wasn't allowed to go into his room, but he listened to death metal, black metal, melodic death metal, and I sat before his door and listened closely what he was listening, and then I heard death metal Obituary, and their album Slowly We Rot, first album, and then the 90s Cause of Death.
Yes.
So this Florida death metal, very cool. And it almost sounded to me that the vocalist was vomiting. And I thought, this is so cool. I want to be like my big brother. He's a badass dude. He's got this leather jacket, long hair. He plays a guitar. And sometimes he would let me, he would open the door and let me look into his room and watch when he played the guitar and death metal. And then it really exploded my metal journey when I heard, do you know the Finnish band Children of Bodom?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, our Children of Bodom. I heard when he played Children of Bodom, and I was like, what is this? I have never heard anything like this. It was fast, like a lightning. And Aleksi Laiho played so fast, and the drummer was amazing and fast. There was nothing like it. There was nothing like it in Finland. And also Aleksi's voice was this kind of black metal, evil, mean stuff. And that's when I thought, this is the best music ever. Now I'm a metalhead. Yeah.
And we were talking before we went on about us both being shy at one point, or I guess I'm still shy, but you were talking about how you were shy and you didn't start singing, or you didn't want anybody to know that you wanted to be a singer or whatever. But so was it the growling that really made you want to be a singer?
Yeah, because I think when I did clean singing and I was in a chorus, it's very like emotional. You have to be gentle and what's the word in English? A bit vulnerable. But when you growl, when I started growling, I got to be like angry and emotional and let everything out in a different way. Of
Yes.
course, also vulnerable and everything, but it just woke something in me that I am not only this shy person, I can also let everything out this way. And it felt very natural to me and very like, this is my thing.
That's cool.
And of course, I sounded horrible when I started for a long time, but still it felt good inside.
Yes. Now, so like I say, we're going to talk about Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind album. And for people listening, if maybe this is your first time listening, we've already did the first Iron Maiden album. We've done Killers, we've done Number of the Beast, and we've done Power Slave. So this is the last of the first 5 Iron Maiden albums for us to do. So if you like this podcast, make sure you go back and check those out. When did you first hear Iron Maiden then?
I also heard Iron Maiden from my big brother in his room. And I liked it because it was also beautiful. Those harmonies and the lead guitar and stem, I don't know what's it in English, but in Finnish it's stem guitars. The combination of the 2 guitars was something I didn't understand then what it was, but it was beautiful. And of course, Bruce's voice is amazing. He can go high with his voice. It's very powerful.
And actually, even though people have heard this story from me, but I guess I'll tell you since you're here with me. Iron Maiden is the first heavy metal group I ever heard, really. I mean, because I'm from Canada and I lived out in the country on a farm. And so back then, of course, we had no internet back then. And so you would just have radio stations. So I would hear like Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple on the radio and stuff like that, which I liked, but I never heard the term heavy metal until I got the Number of the Beast album by Iron Maiden. So that was my introduction to heavy metal, was the Number of the Beast. And of course, I became an instant fan. And then, of course, as soon as this came out, I'm sure I ran out and bought it.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so I'll mention this. Peace of Mind, like I said, 4th studio album released May 1983 on Capitol Records in North America and EMI in, I guess, Europe, I'm assuming. It says the UK from the notes I have, but I'm sure it's everywhere else too. It was the first album to feature Nico McBrain on the drums, who is still the drummer today. And this was the first Iron Maiden album, like just the 4th one, but the first of the 4 to not have a song named after the title of the album. It's Peace of Mind. So there's no song called Peace of Mind, but of course in the song Still Life, they do say the phrase Peace of Mind. And let's see, note. Well, the band on this, probably most people are going to know. So I'm not going to do a bio on Iron Maiden because I figure everybody knows who Iron Maiden is, I would hope. But the band for this album, just in case you don't know, is, of course, Bruce Dickinson on vocals, Steve Harris bass, Dave Murray and Adrian Smith on the guitars, and Nico McBrain, which I mentioned, on the drums. And originally, the working title for this album was called Food for Thought. And I'm kind of glad they didn't call it that. But it was because of Eddie being lobotomized on the cover, and you know how inside the cover they're sitting down with a brain gonna have dinner or whatever. So I think that's what Food for Thought is. But while they were recording it, they decided on Peace of Mind instead.
Cool.
So we're gonna start with the songs, and we're gonna start with, of course, Where Eagles Dare. What do you think of Where Eagles Dare?
It has lots of instrumental stuff. on this song, and cool riffs that I think stick in your head, and classical Maiden. There are lots of Harry's war theme stuff on this album, so it's a good start. For me, it was surprising start because it has so much instrumental on it, but awesome song.
Yes, it's not like a short song, which sometimes they would start an album with, like, you know, Aces High on the Power Slave one or whatever. It's kind of a long one. It's 6 minutes. And I like the drumming right at the start. It kind of shows Nico McBrain right off the bat, like, I'm here, and so here I am. Replacing Clive Burr, who was on the first 3 albums. And I find, and the song is Where Eagles Dare, which is also a World War II spy movie, which was about commandos working for British intelligence during 1943-44, and their mission is to parachute into the snowy Alps behind enemy lines and infiltrate the fortress known as the Castle of the Eagles. So I guess that's where Steve Harris got the idea for the lyrics for this song.
Yeah, he takes ideas from movies and books also. Yes, so that's cool.
Yes, and they've always done that. I think that's probably, it was probably good for the fans too, and you know, because you know they were new at the not this was their 4th album, but I mean, you know, there's parents that would criticize, think they're Satan worshipers because of the number of the beast, and then the kids could say, but they read books. They go to movies. Okay, then we go to Revelations. And what do you think of Revelations?
It's an awesome song. It's very groovy, and it's very versatile. This is Bruce's lyrics, and something very emotional about this one. Right before the solo, which is awesome solo, by the way, the energy rises. So before the solo, I think it's a bit slower and emotional, but then it rises, the song rises. I love the quote, "She came to me with a serpent's kiss." Oh, I love these lyrics. Beautiful ending where Bruce sings very subtle, gentle voice. "It is you." I love the ending. And I heard, I don't know if this is true, but our guitarist and our composer Topi, who loves Iron Maiden, he told me that when Iron Maiden toured and they played this song live, Bruce did play a guitar in this song a bit.
Oh. I mean, I've seen Iron Maiden many times, and that could have happened. I just probably don't remember because it's probably been a long time. Because I don't know if they still keep playing this song or not, and it's been a few years since I've seen them. But yes, I could definitely see that anyway.
Yeah, I heard he doesn't do that anymore, but back in the day, he did it. So cool.
Well, back when this album came out, of course, they only had the 2 guitarists. Now they have 3, so I guess they have no need for him to pick up a guitar, you know, too. Yeah. And he's kind of busy running around the stage and stuff usually. Let's see. And well, you covered a lot on that song, but yeah, I guess the song is influenced by Aleister Crowley, which I think they have a lot of songs like that, or influenced by that. And it's the first 2 tracks both come in at over 6 minutes, kind of showing how, even though there was a long, like Phantom of the Opera, and the second album was long, of course, and Hallowed Be Thy Name on the 3rd one there, but they're kind of getting into more longer songs, maybe more progressive like or whatever. And you mentioned the love of your guitarist for Iron Maiden. I can hear that influence in your music sometimes when the guitars are doing melodic playing and stuff, and yes, I can definitely hear the influence there.
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't mean it, but he has been listening to Iron Maiden since he was a kid, so it it comes from his heart accidentally. The Iron Maiden influence.
Well, there's definitely nothing wrong with it. It's yes. Okay, then we go to the first single off the album, Flight of Icarus, which is one of my favorite songs on this album. Probably my favorite one on the album, I think. But what do you think of Flight of Icarus?
Well, actually, I don't know what it's called in English, but this horse gallop comping rhythm.
Yes.
Is it called gallop rhythm?
Galloping, yes.
Yeah, galloping. With slower tempo, but it's still galloping. This influenced us because our song Winter Maiden, we have galloping there. And some people said to us, like, what are you thinking? Galloping is not cool necessarily, but we thought it's definitely cool. And if Iron Maiden does something, it's like super cool. So this song influenced us very much.
I hear a lot of galloping in other bands. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I know
Yeah.
might have been one of the first ones that kind of did it, especially with the song, the Trooper, when we get to that one, especially on that one. But yes, and this is a very catchy song. It hit number 8 on the Billboard album tracks list back in '84, I guess. And it's like the Run to the Hills of this album. And I know I read where like they wanted a song. Steve Harris didn't like the song. He didn't even want to release it, I don't think. But Bruce insisted that they release it. They said, we're going to get on the radio and stuff like that in the United States, which they were trying to break through on, even though I think they kind of did already with Number of the Beast. But it definitely was a song that could be played on the radio and stuff. Yes. But yes. And I love Bruce's, when I was younger, whatever, 18 or whatever, his long scream in the song, I think I timed it to see how long it was. It was like 15 seconds, I think he held that note.
That's amazing. Yeah, he's a powerhouse, amazing vocalist. And this is the most iconic classic lineup.
Yes. Then we end side 1 with Die With Your Boots On. And what do you think of this song? Now, you don't have to love every song just in case you lean to a song when you don't like. But what do you think of Die With Your Boots On?
One of the best songs on this album, I think, and they have not been playing this so much live, I think, but it's a great song, classic Maiden song. Everything Maiden is about. I love it.
Yes, sorry, I lost myself. I like the lyrics, like the 13, the beast is rising, the French man did surmise through earthquakes and starvation, the warlord will arise. Won't continue, but I love all that lyrics again. And of course, I don't know, because I'm trying to read some people's thoughts and what they think songs are about. And one person thought Die With Your Boots On means die trying.
Yeah, definitely. And the lyrics go, no point asking who's to blame, because if you're gonna die, these lyrics are definitely do what you love, and when you live with your boots on.
Yes, that's right. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So then we get to, I think this is the second single. I know they probably only had 2 singles back then. But anyway, this is the second single and probably one of the most popular Iron Maiden songs ever, The Trooper. And we got some galloping in this. So what do you think of The Trooper?
Ooh, no words needed. One of the best songs ever. This melody is genius, amazing. I don't know how did they come up with this. This is like their paranoid, maybe paranoid. It's amazing song, and there is no chorus. I think, and no bridges. There's only verses. So it's not your typical song, but it's still a hit. And when you can do a hit without bridges and choruses, it's amazing. And the riffs are awesome. Awesome lead guitars and the harmonies with stem guitars. I don't know what's it in English.
We say twin guitars, I guess, is what we call
Twin
it.
guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those harmonies, what they do together in this song is amazing. And it's typical for Iron Maiden.
Yes. And I think there's a great guitar solo in this song as well. I mean, there's lots of great solos everywhere, but
Yeah.
and this is like a staple in their live set. They've actually, according to like the web, sometimes I look at the website setlist.fm, it's called, where they keep track of how many songs they play live or whatever. And the Trooper is the fourth song they've played the most live, just after like Iron Maiden, which of course they play at every show. And the Number of the Beast and Hell would be the name of the only two that have been played more than the Trooper. It's even been played more than Run to the Hills, which is surprising actually.
Oh, cool.
And then we go to, this is actually, I think this is my favorite song on the album, Still Life. I don't know, maybe because I like the lyrics, because they're kind of like horror kind of lyrics and stuff. So what do you think of Still Life?
I also love this one. It's hard to be critical because this album is so awesome. This is a jewel. This song is a jewel, I think. I also love the lyrics and the nightmare stuff. It's very emotional. Nightmares forever calling me. Nightmares, now we rest in peace. I wish I could come up with these kind of genius lyrics, and it's amazing song.
Well, this song is the reason I don't swim, because I'm afraid to go into a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And actually, the song starts with a backwards message, as they said that since they were getting criticized for being Satan worshipers, they thought as a joke they'd put a backwards message on the album. And it's actually Nico McBrain doing a little shtick, and he ends it with a burp, of course.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Now there is, if somebody wants to look on Wikipedia, it actually says what he's saying, but I didn't want to, because I wouldn't get it right if I tried to say because some of the words don't make much sense. But it's on Wikipedia if you want to go look that up. There was something. Oh yeah, Still Life, and they've only played this song live 45 times according to that website. And I believe I did see them play it live, because I can't remember the year, but I saw Iron Maiden where they did a tour where they only played songs from the first 4 albums on the concert. So it was just songs from the first 4 albums. And I think they played Still Life that night. So I guess I was one of the 45 times that I heard it. It was probably on that tour. It's probably the only time they played that song. So I was happy to get to hear Still Life live, because I don't think I've heard it in any of the other shows.
Yeah, that's special.
Yes. And then we go to, why is it? Oh, Quest for Fire. And what do you think now? I was reading some other people's comments, and a lot of people don't like this song. I don't mind it. What do you think of Quest for Fire?
Well, many people say that the first 6 songs are good, amazing on this album, and then after the 6 songs, it what's the word, downwards a bit. But I think Quest for Fire is amazing. High vocals show off from Bruce. He goes amazingly high in this one, in the verses. And Harry's lyrics, adventure in his lyrics, adventure theme, I think. So great riffs, very good solo. I don't know about the technical stuff in solos, like many guitarists, but I think the solo is emotional. So I like this song very much. And when I looked up some reviews on this album, I was surprised that the Rolling Stones reviewed this album only 2 stars from 5 stars. So that was surprising to me.
I don't really like Rolling Stone. I don't think they know too much about heavy metal sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes they do, but of course, there's always going to be people. Yeah, I was going through some reviews too, and I saw somebody giving it like a 1 or 2. Oh, it wasn't Rolling Stone, just people in general giving their own reviews somewhere, and yeah, somebody's giving it 4.5 out of 5, and then somebody's throwing in a 2, saying it's terrible or whatever. But it's just your own opinion, I guess, right? So.
Yeah,
but yeah, a lot of people didn't like the lyrics on this song. They thought it was they didn't like the lyrics, but I don't know. And I don't know if there's a movie I think the movie was from Canada actually called Quest for Fire. So and it was about the same kind of idea that what the song is. So I'm not sure if that's where they got the idea, if Steve Harris got the idea from that movie or if it was just something else.
Yeah, it's adventurous. You can forget your daily life and walk with the dinosaur and fight with the cannibal tribes. And I think it's a fun song. And what you said about opinions, I think it's very comforting as an artist that someone as awesome as Iron Maiden, one of the best bands ever, a big name, if they can also get 2 stars from 5 stars from someone, it's very comforting to other people who make music, I think, because music is art and it's everybody has their opinion and you can't please everyone no matter what you do. So
that's right. Now this song, they've never played this one live according to that website, or the next song either. They've never played Sun and Steel live either. And I like this song. It's just a short rocking song, more galloping in here. But how do you think of this song, Sun and Steel?
It starts with very legendary, in my opinion, very legendary drums. Iron Maiden drums first with Nico, but I think it's some kind of the lyrics are sad to me because this person has killer instinct. He has to be a warrior, killed your first man at 13. 13-year-old is a child. So it's a bit sad that somewhere in the world you have to be this warrior when you're a child. You can't be a child. So it's a bit sad, although the music is not sad in this song, but the lyrics for me are a bit sad.
Well, apparently it's about the life of a samurai legend. Now there's a name here. I guess I'll try to say it. Miyamoto Musashi is the name. So apparently it's about him. I don't know how accurate that is, but I read that. I just made a note of that. But yes, it's a very catchy song. I mean, catchy. The music's catchy, and it's another great guitar solo in there. But yes, if you really dive into the lyrics, it is sad that you have to fight when you're 13, for sure. But they don't make it. Yeah, they definitely don't make the song seem sad in the music and the way they play.
Yeah, and I think it's supposed to be empowering song. For example, if your hobby is boxing or something like that, this is an empowering song. But as a woman, my empathy just woke, and I thought he should be a child when he's 13. Yeah, but it's a good song and a little faster.
And then we end off the album with the longest song, which is almost 7.5 minutes, and that's To Tame a Land. And what do you think of To Tame a Land?
Well, this song has a beautiful beginning, and the first you hear these beautiful melodies, and then the song starts with a headbanging riff. It's a bit surprising, but it's very Iron Maiden. We have a song called Winter Maiden, which starts a bit slow, and also on our debut album, song called Frost of Winter. And we also start those songs with a little bit slower, a clean guitar there, and then it starts after that with a bang. So we have been also influenced by this song, our band SWANSONG. And Bruce sings the verse a bit lower. He becomes a more serious on this one because he's singing about this mighty king who ruled even the sandworms. So his voice gets a bit lower and it's very serious because it's about this mighty king. And I really like the bridges on this one. There's a awesome melody on the bridges, and this is a long song but still not boring to me. Half of the song it comes a bit faster when we are in the middle of the song. On the half it becomes faster, and then Bruce's voice rises higher. I think that's cool. It's very versatile in this song. And the ending melody is so beautiful when the song comes to an end and the whole album comes to an end. There's a beautiful ending, and it's very Iron Maiden to me.
And yes, and as a singer, when you listen to like maybe this album back then, are you thinking, oh, I want to try that? Like, do you try to do what he's doing sometimes, or are you just listening like everyone else?
Yeah, I have tried sometimes. It's amazing how high he can go. It resonates up in his forehead. I think yeah, he can go very high. I don't know if I can go that high, but maybe I have to practice more.
You're doing just fine.
Thank
Now,
you.
this song was actually, they wanted to call it Dune, about the novel of the same name, but they had to, the person that wrote it, Frank Herbert, so they had to get his permission, and he said he doesn't like rock bands, particularly heavy rock bands, and especially bands like Iron Maiden, so they couldn't use that name. So they had to call it To Tame a Land.
Oh.
And now he's probably, I'm not sure how old that person is, if he's still alive, but now he's probably thinking, oh, I should have let them do that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It
it's a
would
good
have
song.
been
It's like, it's kind of like Rhyme in the Ancient Mariner, which comes on the next album, which has the middle part of the song slows right down, and then you pick up again for the solo section, and there's lots of great drum work on that song. And I read a lot of people's comments again saying how this is like their favorite song, and I was surprised thinking that maybe people didn't like this song. I don't know why, even though I like the song, but anyway, so that's the album. That was like 45 minutes, which was an average time for an album back then. And I know you're not a album reviewer, but would you be able to rate this album out of 10?
I would say 9.5.
Very good. Now I was gonna give it a 9. 9 out of 10 would be how I would probably review it, I suppose. So we're pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Awesome.
Now, have you ever seen Iron Maiden live yourself?
Yes, last year in Tampere, Finland, uh, I cried. I cried my eyes out. It was amazing. And even when Eddie came on the stage, I like cried. Nico to me was amazing. Bruce still, he sings to me. There was nothing wrong with his voice. He's amazing. So I just enjoyed every minute of it. It was like a theater. How do you say theater?
Theater.
Yeah, and also an opera at the same
Yes.
time, and rock festival, and badass music, heavy rock metal stuff. So I loved it. Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, I've probably seen them about 10 times over the years. And my first one was on the Power Slave tour. That was my first time seeing Iron Maiden, was on that tour. And
Wow.
that was 1984 that I seen that. But I won't talk about it. I've probably talked about that before in all the podcasts anyway. So that's the album. That was great. We talked about that album. And I know you mentioned before we started about Obituary, but I'm not a big guy into death metal. So even though I would have been willing to do that album, other writers on my staff probably would have been upset that I talked about that album, since they know it way better than I do. So I'm glad we went with Iron Maiden, since I definitely know them really well.
Yeah, and I love death metal. I love melodic death metal. I love heavy metal. Many different styles. So
Yes.
I'm also happy we did this.
Yes. And now, and we usually finish off the episode with a top 10 list. And I didn't know if you would participate, but you said you got a list for me. And we're going to do, I thought, since we have a female here as my guest, female vocalist, that we would do top 10 female. I have hard rock metal just because some of mine might be hard rock girls, not necessarily heavy metal, because I'm going for a little bit of, I have a few Canadians on here, probably that you've never heard of before, possibly, and some that didn't last very long, but they're still special to me, I guess, because I probably grew up listening to them. So I'll go first, I guess, and I'll let you go last with your list, okay?
Yeah.
And now I've ranked mine like 1 to 10, and I'm going to start at number 10. It doesn't matter if you didn't rank yours or not. It doesn't matter, but that's what I did. So number 10, I have a female singer from Toronto called Lee Aaron. And the reason I have her on my list is because when I was in high school, I had a poster of her on my locker in high school.
Oh, so cute.
And she had an album called Metal Queen. And even though this was, of course, back in, what year was that? That was probably in the early 80s. It wasn't very heavy, but there wasn't many females in metal. There was Girl School, maybe, and Rock Goddess, another group, Runaways before that, but there wasn't very many females in metal.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very heavy, but anyway, she was called a metal queen, and she's still going today. She doesn't really sing metal, but she sings rock, hard rock, or whatever. So she's still around. So that's why she's my number 10. Number 9 is another Canadian, and her name is Darby Mills, and she was in a band called Headpins. And they only had 3 albums, but their first 2 albums, I listened to it before I discovered heavy metal, so it was hard rock, even though it was just as heavy as some of the hair metal that came after it. But I loved her voice on those first 2 albums. So Headpins, Darby Mills from the Headpins. And my number 8 is called Priya Panda, who is also a singer from Toronto, but I think now she lives in California in the United States. She was in a band called Diamonds. That's Diemonds, not like the diamonds on your fingers.
Oh.
And they were kind of a hair metal band with an edge or whatever. But I used to do photo shoots, and I did a photo shoot with her once. So that's kind of why she's on my list too. I mean, I love her singing, but I also had fun that I got to do a photo shoot with. Now, my number 7 is, well, I couldn't have you on my podcast and not have you on my list. So my number 7 is you.
Woo, awesome. Thank you so much. What an honor to be among
You've
these
only got
women.
one full album under your belt for singing, so after you have a few more, you might go higher on my list.
Oh, now I have to step it up.
Yes, indeed. Okay, number 6, I got Diva Satanica of Bloodhunter and also of the band How We End. And she was she was on one album with the band Nervosa from Brazil. And I've known her for years, so she's kind of on here just because also I know her, but I also love her. She's a great screamer. She's not really a growler, she's just a screamer.
Love
And
her
number
too.
5, I have Alyssa White-Gluse from Arch Enemy, and she is another Canadian. I got like 5 Canadians on my list, actually. She is from Montreal in Canada. And of course, she's in Arch Enemy right now. Number 4, I have Brittany Slays, who is from the Canadian band. I guess they're a power metal band, I would call them. Unleash the Archers from BC in Canada.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
don't know if have you ever heard of Unleash the Archers?
Yes, I
Okay.
have.
Okay. Yeah,
Awesome.
they've been around a while. And so that's my number 4. Number 3, I have Angela Gasso, who was in Arch Enemy, and she was like the first female growler I ever heard, possibly you too. But
Yeah.
she was, and I interviewed her way back when, I don't know, 20 years ago or something on my previous version of my website. And she's the one that got me into extreme music because I never really liked the death metal vocals until I heard Arch Enemy. And I didn't even know it was a girl, I don't think, but I really loved the guitars in the band. And then I went, oh, that's a girl singing?
Yeah, like
Kind of.
many of us. Yeah. Awesome.
And my number 2 is from, let's see, the group where it's Taylor Momsen of the Pretty Reckless. Now, this isn't a heavy metal group, even though they're pretty heavy rock. And of course, she was in the movie as a little girl in the movie The Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim
Yeah.
Carrey. But I love her voice. I think she has such a great I can't think of the word now, but her voice is just great, I think. And I don't mind listening to the songs. Some of them are pretty good. And my number 1 is, I don't know if you know this band, a band called Once Human. And the singer is Lauren Hart. And it's actually on the day we're recording it, it's her birthday today. No, she won't be listening, and it won't be, this podcast will be posted a couple days later, but it just happens to be her birthday as we're talking. And I've known her for a while, and we're kind of friendly friends. And once they are working on a new album, so hopefully this year we'll have a Once Human album, and she's definitely a screamer too. And there's my list.
Whoa, amazing. And happy birthday to her. She's amazing. Amazing women. And some of them are also on my list.
Okay.
So I think your list was amazing.
Thank you. So let's hear your list now.
My list, they are not in particular order,
Okay.
but I have to say, we agreed that we are doing 10 women,
Yes, yes,
and I have female metal
yes.
women
That's
on
fine.
my list. But as a bonus, I have to say that this woman, she doesn't do metal, but she's amazing. She has a song called Heavy Metal Lover, and she has these cool riffs on her music, although it's pop. But she's a very good singer and composer, amazing woman, and she is Lady Gaga.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, and although she doesn't do metal, I played her album to our guitarist, Topi. And Topi was like, I don't like pop music, I don't want to hear it. And we were driving, and I said, please listen to it. And then he listened to it, and he was very surprised that there were these cool guitar riffs that she uses, and she uses a band nowadays, and he was impressed. So she has a bit of those metal vibes to
Well, I
her.
think she is a heavy metal fan, if I'm not mistaken. She played with Metallica, I think, at some award show, like maybe the Grammys one year. I can't remember. And I think I've seen her wearing an Iron Maiden shirt, and I think she actually wore it on a talk show once, and I
Yes,
think or something, and I think she really
yes,
just liked them stuff. But yes, so that's interesting. Okay.
definitely. And she is bringing something metal into pop music.
Yes.
So I think it's a good thing
Yes.
to metal. But then to my list, I have here Vicky White from the Agonist.
Oh yes.
I think she's amazing vocalist. She's versatile. She's amazing screamer and growler. Unfortunately, the Agonist quit. I think it was a big, what's the word? Loss, big loss to metal. I love her, and also her personality. She's a great person.
I actually have a picture of her and me and her together because I interviewed her once outside a club in Ontario,
Oh,
Canada. I'll have to find a picture and send it to you.
awesome. That's cute. And then I have Amy Lee here from Evanescence. She has been on what's the word? Promoter.
Yes.
Promoter for metal. She has won Grammys. And she's a beautiful woman, beautiful voice, beautiful person. I like her.
Yes.
And then I have Warlock Queen Doro here. She's one of those original queens, and she has also made solo career. She's an amazing woman. And there are so many women I would like to put on this list. I also thought about Taylor Momsen, but not everyone can, because there has to be only 10.
Yes.
Then I have Simone Simons from Epica. She's a Dutch, amazing woman. She always looks so elegant, and she's a powerhouse vocalist. I love her. And then I have some Finnish ladies, because you promoted Canadian ladies. So now, as a Finnish person, I have to shout out to my Finnish babes. Noora Louhimo from Battle Beast. Do you know her?
Yes, I do know her.
She's amazing. She has this rock and roll in her voice. It's very powerful. She has this rock and roll rasp in her voice. And then I have, of course, Tarja Turunen, Nightwish original vocalist, because I was a child when I heard Nightwish, and Tarja was the vocalist. Her opera singing was amazing. There was nothing like that. And then I have Nightwish Floor Jansen, who is doing amazing job. She's amazing. She can do anything with her voice. She also growls, not in Nightwish, but she can growl.
Yes.
And I think she finally deserves this success that she has got with Nightwish, because she has been doing vocals for so long, and she's amazing and a nice person, amazing woman and a mother.
Yes.
So those were my Finnish ladies. And then I have, of course, Canadian Alyssa Whiteglued. She's amazing. She has risen arch enemy to a wider crowd, I think. She's a real queen, and she also promotes good things like animal rights and vegan stuff. And I love her voice. There's something, it's very like powerful and brutal, but still there's something softness in her voice. So it's awesome. And then of course I have Ginger, Tatiana. She has this amazing like blues, sexy, clean voice. Where you could be in a bar, piano bar, you know, sipping drinks, and she would do this smoky, sexy voice thing. And then when she growls, I was like, what? She's amazing. I actually read somewhere that when she started to growl, she growled in a pillow so she could practice, because when you growl like this, it's too noisy. But when she growled in a pillow, the neighbors wouldn't be so mad at her. So I think that might have gotten her growl so powerful, because when you have to growl in a pillow, it takes a lot of air and power. So maybe I should try that also. And then I have, of course, Angela Gossow, the queen. I didn't know women can do stuff like this before I heard her. And she's amazing. Her presence, stage presence, is also very powerful. And her voice is amazing. She has paved a way for women.
Yes.
She's the reason I growl. Her and Alice are both amazing and in their own way. Kind of the same, but a little bit different. And then I said 10 names, but the last bonus name is Spirit Box Courtney Laplante. She has paved the way also for metal, and she does this cool clean stuff, and then this deathcore stuff, which I have found deathcore also. I'm into it. I'm into deathcore vocals. She does amazing stuff with that. And she did a song with Megan Thee Stallion, the rapper. So she's putting together metal and rap as a woman. And I know some people don't like it, but I think it's good for metal. We need to metal over the world, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I love her. Amazing ladies, all of them.
That's great. That's a good list. And I was worried I wouldn't know many of them, but I know most of them, I think. I mean, Spirit Box, I maybe haven't listened to them before, but I think I know everyone else that you mentioned, so that's good.
Yay, cool.
Because I know I'm not much into the symphonic metal, I guess, like your Night Wishes, but of course I obviously know about them and stuff like that, of course.
Yeah, Nightwish is Finland's maybe most biggest band, metal band.
Yes. Okay, that's great. And so I guess that's about it. We're at about an hour, I think, since we started. So that's good. Is there anything I do thank you very much for joining me on the podcast. It was very fun to have a singer on, because I guess I've had divas on before, and I had another female singer, but it was nice to get your views on Bruce Dickinson, who's a pretty good singer too. And
yeah, he's amazing. And thank you so much for having me. This was such an honor. And if you listen to my Finnish rally English for an hour, you deserve a medal. So thank you so much. I had fun.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining me. Now, make sure if you're listening to this podcast, share it. If you can review wherever you're listening to it, if you can leave a review or rate it, please do, because we need some more reviews and stuff everywhere. And if you want to be a guest, like I said, maybe, or if you have a suggestion of an album or something like that, please email me info@themetalpit.org. So thanks, Jemiina, And I hope, wait, I hope you have a bye.
Päivää. Thank you.
Päivää,
Yes,
okay.
I will have a good day, and to you too, to everyone listening, and for you, Blake.
Okay. Thank you. And thanks everybody for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. Keep it metal.